They lied about who you are. Not once, not accidentally, deliberately, systematically, for generations. And somewhere deep inside you, you already knew. You've always felt it, that quiet ache that never goes away, that sense that you were dropped into the wrong life, wrong family, wrong timeline, like you've been living someone else's story while your real one waited behind a locked door. You look around at people moving through life without questions, without weight, without that burning need to understand why, and you wonder, why can't I just be like them? But here's what they never told you. You were never supposed to be like them, because you are not like them. You are one of the rare ones, the ones who carry something ancient in their chest, the ones who feel the weight of worlds they've never visited, the ones who weep at sunsets without knowing why, the ones who sense things before they happen, the ones who attract pain and survive it every single time. That's not a coincidence. That's not weakness. That is the mark. And today, right now, in this exact moment that you chose to press play, the door is finally opening. The truth that was buried about your origin is rising. Not slowly, like a flood. And by the time this video ends, you will never see yourself the same way again. Stay with me. This was made for you. If this message found you at the right time, type CHOSEN in the comments right now. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, because what's coming next will change everything. Part 1. The wound that was actually a gate. You were born different, and the world made sure you paid for it. Maybe it started in childhood. You felt too much, cared too deeply, asked questions that made adults uncomfortable. You saw through people before you had words for what you were seeing. And instead of being celebrated for that gift, you were punished for it. They called you sensitive, difficult, too emotional, too intense, too much. So you learned to shrink. You learned to fold yourself into shapes that didn't belong to you. You learned to silence the voice inside that kept whispering, "This isn't right. This isn't you. There is something more." You carried wounds that weren't yours. You absorbed the pain of people around you like a sponge. You were the fixer, the peacemaker, the one everyone leaned on. And you broke, quietly, over and over. But here is the truth they buried. That wound was not an accident. Every chosen soul enters through fire. Every great one has a chapter of destruction, a period of exile, a season of silence where the world forgets them and they forget themselves. Joseph was thrown into a pit by his own brothers. Moses fled into the desert with nothing. David hid in caves before he wore a crown. And you have been in your cave, longer than you should have been, deeper than felt fair, darker than you thought you could survive. But you are still here. That is not luck. That is not random. That is selection. The wound broke open the very thing that needed to be released. The old identity, the borrowed name, the life that was never truly yours. You were not broken by your pain. You were being excavated by it. Something ancient was being uncovered, layer by layer, loss by loss, year by quiet, brutal year. And now the excavation is almost complete. The gate that looked like a wound is swinging open. Walk through it.
Part 2. Why you remember things you never lived. Have you ever felt homesick for a place you've never been? Have you ever heard a piece of music and wept without knowing why? Have you ever met a stranger and felt like you'd known them for centuries? Have you ever looked up at the stars and felt not wonder, but recognition? That is not fantasy. That is not imagination. That is memory. Chosen ones carry something that science has no name for yet. A cellular knowing, a soul-level archive of experiences that exist beyond this single lifetime, this single body, this single story. You have been here before. Not in this form, but you, the essential you, has moved through this world many times, has loved, has lost, has risen, has been silenced, has carried light into places that tried to extinguish it. And every single time, you came back. because you cannot be extinguished. That's why ordinary life never felt like enough. That's why 9-to-5 schedules feel like coffins. That's why small talk drains you and deep conversations give you life. That's why you lie awake at 3 in the morning, feeling the weight of something enormous pressing on your chest. You are not anxious. You are awakening. There is a difference. Anxiety says something is wrong. Awakening says something is coming. You have been confusing the signal for the symptom. That restlessness you feel is not a disorder. It is a direction. That loneliness you carry is not rejection, it is preparation. You cannot be filled by ordinary things because you were built for extraordinary purpose. And the world that tried to medicate you, silence you, reduce you, explain you away, that world is not your home. You always knew that. Now you know why. Part 3. The system that needed you small. Let's say something that most people are too afraid to say. The world was not designed for you to wake up. Think about it. Every system you were handed, educational, social, cultural, religious, was optimized for one thing: compliance, repetition, predictability. Keep the machine running. Keep the people moving in straight lines. Keep the questions quiet. And then you arrived, full of questions, full of fire, full of that unbearable, inconvenient knowing. You didn't fit the template, you couldn't run the program, and so the program turned on you. It told you that your sensitivity was weakness. It told you that your vision was delusion. It told you that your pain meant you were broken, not that you were being forged. It needed you small. Because small people don't ask questions. Small people don't disrupt systems. Small people don't ignite movements or shift consciousness or remind sleeping crowds that there is another way to live. You were a threat, and they knew it before you did. That is why the pressure came so early. That is why the isolation found you in childhood. That is why the right people kept leaving and the wrong situations kept arriving. You were being tested, yes, but you were also being contained. They could not let you discover the truth too soon. Because the truth is this: you were never meant to serve the system. You were sent to transform it. Not through force, not through rebellion for its own sake, but through the sheer, undeniable power of a human soul operating at full capacity. A fully awakened chosen one cannot be controlled, cannot be dimmed, cannot be reduced. And you are almost fully awakened. The system can feel it. That's why everything is shaking right now. That's why your old life is falling apart. It is not punishment. It is preparation.
Part 4. The truth about your origin that changes everything. Now we go deeper. Stay with me. You did not arrive here by accident. Not to this planet, not to this family, not to this exact moment in history. You were placed. I know that sounds impossible. I know every logical voice in your head is resisting it. But stay here for one more moment, because what if the feeling you've had your entire life, that feeling of being here for something, what if that feeling was data, not delusion? What if the reason you feel chosen is because you are? Not chosen above others, not chosen in arrogance, but chosen in the way that a surgeon is chosen for a specific operation, chosen in the way that a key is chosen for a specific lock. You carry a specific frequency, a specific gift, a specific wound that became a wisdom that the world around you desperately needs. There are people you have not yet met who are waiting for you to step into who you actually are. There are conversations you have not yet had that will shatter someone's darkness. There are words inside you, unwritten, decisions inside you, unmade, a version of you, unlived, that the world is quietly, desperately waiting for. And the only thing standing between that version of you and this moment is the lie. The lie that you are ordinary. The lie that your pain was pointless. The lie that the years of isolation and confusion and heartbreak were mistakes. They were not mistakes. They were your training. Every loss was a lesson you needed. Every rejection was a redirection. Every night you cried alone on the floor was building a capacity for compassion that cannot be manufactured, cannot be taught, can only be lived. You have been living it. You have been earning it. And now, right now, the truth about your origin is surfacing. You come from something unbreakable. You carry something irreplaceable. You are something the world has been waiting for. The tomb is empty. Walk out, chosen one. This is your moment. Not next year, not when you feel ready, not when the fear is gone or the path is clear or the people around you finally understand. Now, right now, in this body, in this life, with every scar still visible and every question still unanswered. You don't need to have it all figured out. The chosen ones never do. They just keep moving. They just keep showing up. They just keep saying yes to the call, even when the call makes no logical sense. You have survived things that should have destroyed you. Read that again. You have survived things that should have destroyed you. That is not normal. That is not luck. That is armor. That is proof. That is the universe pointing at you and saying, this one carries something. This one doesn't break. This one gets back up every single time. And now it's time to stop just surviving. It's time to walk in what you were chosen for. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for validation. Stop waiting for the world to recognize what was placed inside you before you were born. The recognition begins with you. You are not too late. You are not too damaged. You are not too far gone. You are right on time. The tomb is empty. The stone has been rolled away. Walk out, chosen one. The world has been waiting long enough. And if this message reached you today, it was not by accident. Subscribe, because this is only the beginning. What's coming next will take you even deeper.